Hey, today we're going to teach you why to compost and how to compost. To understand why we need to compost, we must first understand what the problem is that needs to be solved by composting. It all starts with greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases, such as methane and carbon dioxide, occur naturally from the decomposition of organic material. These gases are released into the atmosphere, and the sun's rays can pass through these gases and are absorbed into the earth. When the earth gives off heat into the atmosphere, some escapes into space, while some is trapped in Earth's atmosphere by a layer of greenhouse gases, preserving the Earth's heat.
However, human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and transportation emissions have caused a huge increase in the amount of greenhouse gases entering Earth's atmosphere and are rapidly increasing the Earth's average temperature. Did you know, according to the U.S. Global Change Research Program, the temperature in the U.S. has increased by 2 degrees in the last 50 years, and precipitation has increased by 5%? Also, landfills such as the DeWitt and Waterloo locations here in central New York are significant contributions to the global warming as well. Composting your food waste instead of throwing it in the trash helps us reduce global warming. Here's why.
Methane is 21 times worse than carbon dioxide because it absorbs much more heat radiation as it tries to leave the Earth's atmosphere. Methane is emitted in landfills when organic materials break down anaerobically or without an available source of oxygen. Landfills cause 18% of the U.S.'s methane emissions. However, if we composted food waste instead, it could break down aerobically, or with oxygen, and release carbon dioxide rather than methane. This would allow more heat to escape from the Earth's atmosphere and slow down global warming. Every ton of waste recycled or composted instead of thrown away helps keep the methane equivalent of more than 6,500 pounds of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Here's how you can compost and help save the world.
This is a compost bin that we just built. It only takes up to an hour to an hour and a half to build, and can be built out of simple materials that you can get from home or buy at a store for a relatively cheap price. This is composed of 3 wooden frames and wire mesh that is wrapped around the inside of the frames to aerate the pile and maintain the materials inside the bin. When going in to turn the pile, you can just simply move this front door and go in and turn it and make sure to move it back and tie it to the side when finished.
Instead of building a compost bin, you can also purchase some from local stores. There are many different varieties of compost bins that you can purchase, including a tumbler, which you can spin in order to speed up the composting process. You can also just make a pile on the ground of your compost and allow nature to take its course.
When composting, you have green materials and you have brown materials. Green materials are very nitrogen-based, where brown materials are very carbon-based. When you make a compost pile, you should have 3 times as many browns as you do greens. These materials should be shredded so that they are much more easy to compost. Brown materials include items such as leaves, corn husks, and newspapers, and can also include other paper products such as Post-it notes. Green items are all produce and can be orange peels, potato skins, pumpkins, bananas, and apples. Materials that you should not compost are meats, fats and oils, dairy products, animal bones, and animal waste.
You should collect your compostable waste in a small container in your home, like this Tupperware here. Bring it out to the pile when the container becomes full.
Make sure when adding your materials that you alternate green and brown materials in layers.
Your compost should be located in a convenient location out of the way. It should be located near a house or a water supply, so you can hose it down. It should also be located in direct sunlight.
Another important aspect to composting will be to turn the compost bin. Basically, when turning, you just want to mix the materials so that they become aerated and continue to decompose properly. Try to turn the bin at least twice a month, or as often as twice a week, to speed up the composting process.
The last important part to composting is to make sure that your compost pile is properly hydrated. You want to make sure that your compost pile is moist but not soggy. If your compost feels like a wet sponge, it's probably been overwatered.
If you care for your compost pile well, frequently watering it and aerating it, it should only take about 3 to 4 months for it to fully break down. Here's some soil from a fully broken down compost pile. This soil, once it's fully broken down, can be used in a variety of ways for your lawn and garden, from topsoil in your vegetable garden to mulch in your flower bed.